Hello guys and gals, welcome back. Today we're looking at some genres that don't use chords, or certainly not usually anyway. This video was inspired by some conversations recently with you guys, where you were asking for chord breakdowns of certain tracks, but those tracks actually didn't have any chords in them. Now I can actually relate to this. I had a very similar experience when I was new to all this. Back when I was in school, one of the ways I used to train my ears was to work out piano lines from my favourite tracks, like The Prodigy, for example. And I was quite good at it. But then Metallica dropped this album, the Black Album. And for the first time in a while, I actually couldn't understand what I was hearing. I was fascinated by this really powerful sound. It perplexed me for years, and I remember eventually I got my hands on a book by Cherry Lane Music, which had the full breakdown of all the music. Excitedly, I opened the page, I found the drop, and I saw this. For those of you who don't read music, it's this. It's a single note on E1. No chords, no harmony. Turns out that's just what a heavily distorted guitar sounds like, playing one note. Anyway, as you'll see, this is very much a similar thing. Genre differences aside, things can sound a lot more complex than they actually are. Let's have a look. Right, techno. Eminem was wrong when he said nobody listens to techno, because we've got some here, J. Lumin style. Banging. Let's look at this more complicated section here. So as you can hear, lots going on, but let's break it down. So let's start from the bottom to the top. Here's a kick. We've got some rolling drum grooves here. Hi-hats, percussion, a little bit of atmos. And here's what's going on at the bottom. We have our rumble. Techno rumble, which is literally white noise. You could use a sample for this. I've chosen to use Ableton's synth to get the white noise. White noise is white noise. So white noise is inherently pitchless because it contains all frequencies. So we don't have any tones there. Our first tone comes from the sub and the bass. We're in F sharp, so we're just playing a bunch of F sharps, but they're staying on the 1. Let's mute the rest of our tracks here so you can hear that. Okay. Now, as for our instruments, we have a folder here full of one-shots. I'll have to be careful. Some of these are from Splice, so I can't play them solo, but you'll be able to hear the idea. Lots of pitchless noises, basically. One-shots of various sound effects. And then in the instruments section, we've got some tonal stuff. Quite a harmonic bass and an acid bark. We've got this pad here, which swells. We've got whatever you want to call this. I've called that one the fnirt. They're technically tonal, but they're all just playing one note. Again, we're on F sharp. You've got the acid bark. F sharp. The fnirt is pretty pitchless, actually. That's just bending around. There's a gated synth here acting like an ARP kind of thing. Again, on an F sharp. And we've even got an acid line. Acid lines over rumbles could literally be any notes if you think it sounds good. This is mostly F sharps. There's an F natural here. There we go. F sharp, F sharp, F natural, F sharp. You could argue that might paint a certain scale, but still no chords. This is all single notes. There we go. So there's nothing but F sharps in there. So you couldn't even give a scale for this track. You couldn't say it was F sharp minor or Phrygian or major or anything like that, because we adjust F sharp, the note. That forms our tonal center, but we don't have a scale. And certainly no chords. Obviously, big asterisk and small print. There are plenty of techno tracks which use chords. You could easily put a chord in this pad here. So imagine if we put one here. That kind of thing, but no chord progression. So that's just to show you, even though there's lots of complex sounds going on, lots of things bouncing off one another, just because the timbres are complex, doesn't mean there's any chords there. Just lots of cool sounds, arranged well, no chords, and no chord progression. Let's look at some more. Right, let's look at some bass house. I've used the same vocal for all of these, by the way, sorry. Okay, let's break it down. Here's our kick. Short and punchy. We have no tone to that at all, no note. Not tuned. Here's our drum loop. Just lots of bouncy percussion, including a tom, which I've placed in between the bass notes. And speaking of bass, here are our basses. There's 3 of them, plus a sub. So we've got our screamer kind of bass here. We've got our more soupy kind of bass. And here's a more stabby, funky bass to fill in the gaps. And you'll notice they're all on just D sharp. D sharp, D sharp, D sharp, D sharp. We've got this little bend up to an E at the end. It's like a turnaround, which is here. But other than that, here's the sub line. You can see it's backing them all up on the D sharp. And the only other element to the track is a vocal loop over the top. I can't play this one solo because it's spliced, but you can hear it. And the vocal is wrapped, so that is pitchless. So literally our only pitches are these D sharps and this turnaround here. That's it. We have no chord part at all. Now, some bass house obviously does have chords, especially in the breaks. This is kind of influenced by the last Skrillex track, and he certainly uses chords in the breaks. But this is just a show. With sounds as rich as these kind, you don't need literal chord parts anywhere in the track if you don't want them. Speaking of rich sounds, let me just quickly show you what's going on here. The reason these sounds take up a lot of the spectrum, like this one for example, you'll see there's a lot of waveform manipulation. We've got 2 filters on the go. And most importantly, FM synthesis here. I'm frequency modulating the first oscillator with the second one, which is what creates all these rich harmonics. helped by a bunch of effects, distortion, EQ, compression, that kind of thing. If you want me to go over synthesis types, by the way, Vital is a fantastic visual way of learning synthesis. I would be up for doing a series on the different synthesis types because Vital has most of them built in. We've got FM, we've got subtractive, we've got wavetable. So let me know if you'd be up for that. But yes, with nice rich sounds, no chord part needed. Let's look at another one. Okay, we've got some tech house. We've gone for a craze style. Okie dokie. Let's have a quick breakdown. Here's our kick. Again, we are pitchless, short. Here's the rest of our drums. Completely straight groove. Boots and cats and boots and cats. Here's bass number 1. Here's our first bass. Kind of a dirty rave sound on C. We are in C. That's just playing on the start of the bar. We have a turnaround bass here, which is just a swell, again on C. And then we have a 808 tom style bass for the main groove. Now these can literally be any notes you like, as long as they're in a tonal direction that you like. You can literally put them on anything. I wanted them to be going up to down like this. Doesn't really matter. So that's classed as a percussion part, really. And vocally, we have the rap, which is, again, pitchless. But we do have a choir part, which is from Splice, so I can't solo it. But that is technically singing a chord. So there's a little bit of chord direction when that kicks in, but that's used as a pickup. It doesn't actually have to be a chord part at all. As you can hear, the drop is chordless. Just drums, bass, vocal. That's all we have. Nice and simple. And the break just has the bass. Sometimes we have this for pace. We also have this pad tone. For tension, because we want that to go away when the drop happens. And there's one more pace keeping sound called a donk. It's a really noisy synth. Again, it's just pressing C. Everything is on C. Our pad is on C, as you can see. And here's our vocal. All C's. We have no chords at all. Just good groove, good sounds. Entirely tom bass based groove. That's all there is to it. Right then. I hope that opened your ears to some of the sonic and harmonic goings on inside some of these genres. Maybe you were overthinking the harmony part. Maybe you weren't. Either way, I hope the breakdown helped you out somewhat. As you probably saw, I made most of these patches with the FreeSynth Vital. If you'd like any of the patches, let me know in the comments. I will be gathering them up in the coming days, but there was quite a few to this video and I haven't had time yet. So pester me in the comments for your favorite patch and I will make sure it's uploaded. In the meantime, if this video helped you out, you can show your appreciation in several ways. You can hit the like button, you can subscribe to the channel, you can buy me a coffee in the description, or you can leave me a comment with any questions or suggestions on new videos. Thank you for the great support so far. I will see you all next week. Bye bye.